Alright, this is 7th grade, chapter 6, page 269. So make sure that you open up your books to that page. Follow along with me, please. Page 269. This chapter is about integers. So comparing and ordering integers is what we're going to do first. So the first thing we need to do is define integers. So integer, it's right on the top of the page. If you look at the top in my room above the chalkboard, you'll see a number line. The numbers on that number line are the integers. So the integers are the negatives, the positives, and they're the whole numbers, and 0. 0 is right in the middle. It splits up the positives and negatives, so it's neither negative or positive, it's just 0. Okay, the negative integers are numbers, find my pen, numbers less than 0. The positive integers are numbers greater than 0. And opposites, when we're dealing with our numbers here, opposites are numbers that are the same distance from the number from 0 on the number line. Just one is positive and one is negative. Those are the opposites. So an example of an opposite would be 2 and negative 2. Negative 5 and positive 5. Those are opposites of each other. Okay, so let's take a look. I think I have the key concept. Here we go. The first key concept is on page 269, and it's talking about integers and their opposites. So this spot right here is a place to put a number line. So there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. This goes negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and this should look familiar. It's up in the top in my classroom. Okay, it says two numbers are opposites if they are the same distance from 0 on a number line, but on opposite sides of 0. For example, 3 and negative 3. So let's take a look at 3 is right here, and negative 3 is right here. So this is 1, 2, 3 steps from 0. This is 1, 2, 3 steps from 0. So negative 3 and positive 3 are considered opposites. And just a little side note, the opposite of 0 is 0. So take a second and get this down in your notes about opposites. And when you're ready to go, just pause it while you're writing. When you're ready to go, we'll tackle example 1. So example 1, writing integers. It says in 3 plays of a football game, there's a gain of 7 yards, a loss of 10 yards, and a gain of 9 yards. Use integers to represent gains and losses. So a gain is a positive, so they have positive 7, they lost 10 yards, and they gained 9 yards. So together, they gained a total of 16 yards, and they lost 10 yards. So that comes out to be 6, the total amount, our integer to represent the total altogether. So there they are, writing the integers. And then use integers to represent the gains and losses. I guess they didn't want us to add them together, but we had the 7, we had the negative 10, and the 9. So let me erase my board here. So on this one, a bank account has deposits of 100 and 150 and a withdrawal of 75. So deposits are positive, so that would be 100. And 150, those would be positive. A withdrawal would be negative 75. So there's our numbers. And notice you don't have to put a plus in front if it's positive. It's just indicated, if there's nothing in front of a number, it's indicated as being positive. Alright, so what's the opposite of 15? That's just going to be negative 15. The opposite of negative 8 is positive 8. The opposite of negative 35 is positive 35, or just 35. You don't have to put the plus. The opposite of 100 is negative 100. Okay, those are easy. What if your bank account from example 1 had an additional deposit of $200 and withdrawals of 100 and 250? Use integers to represent the deposits and the withdrawals. So the deposit would be 200, that would be a positive. Withdrawal would be minus 100 and then minus 250. So we're just representing the numbers. Okay, so example number 2, now comparing numbers, it gets a little tricky. when you're comparing numbers. So if we look at them on a number line, we'll talk about them with a number line. If you plot the points, -2 and -5, okay, remember in a number line, the farther the number is to the right, the greater it is. Okay, so -5, even though 5 is bigger than 2, -2 is bigger because it is a smaller negative. It'd be kind of, I always think about owing money. You want to owe $5 or do you want to owe $2? Owing $2 is better than owing $5. So -2 is greater than -5. And with the negatives, it just messes it up. It switches the numbers. The bigger the negative, the less it's worth. So -6 and +1, anytime one is negative and one is positive, obviously the positive is bigger. 1 is greater than -6, or -6 is less than 1. There's two ways to write it, like you notice on that other one. So example number 3, the weather. The table shows the average temperatures in degrees Celsius for 6 months in the Gobi Desert of Mongolia. Which of these months has the lowest average temperature? So what's the lowest average? So we look at these numbers, this one's positive, so it's out. What's the biggest negative number right there in January? That's the lowest. Which of these months? So it would be, actually I should read the question, I guess, huh? The month would be January. And they put them on a number line, which is fine. I just looked at the numbers. And it's January. Okay. So copy and complete the statement. 0. Now if you're not sure, you can draw yourself a number line or just look at the number line that's on my board or draw you one. 0 is greater than -7, less than -7. It is greater because -7 is farther to the left. -9. 9 is bigger than 4, but when it's negative, -9 is less than +4. Anytime you're comparing a negative and a positive, the positive always wins. -5 and -4. Now this one's where it's tricky. They're both negative. -5, if you think of a number line, there's -5, there's -4. And this one, the farther the number is to the right, the more it's worth. So -5 is less than -4. -3, and you think money, if you want to owe 3, is it better to owe -3 or better to owe -13? -3, so -3 is greater than -13. Put these integers from least to greatest. So we start with the negatives first, okay? And they will probably say, make a number line. There's 0, -1, -2, -3, -4. How far do I have to go? -5, -6, and here I got to go 1, 2, 3, 4. The nice thing about a number line is it automatically puts them in order for you. So there's 8. There's -4. There's -6. There's +4. There's -3. There's +1. There they are in order. Or you can start with the negatives. The bigger the negative, the less it's worth. So you would go -6, -4, -3. Then switch your numbers 1, 4, and 8. And we got them right. So let's do this without a number line. The bigger the negative, the less it is. So they're all negative. So -16 would go first, then -12, then -10, -8, -7. All right. Oh man, I was just having fun. That's it. All right. Have fun comparing and putting those numbers in order. We'll see you next time.